Britain is pushing through a plan that could allow the deportation of tens of thousands of asylum seekers to Rwanda.
Deterrence is a critical part of it. There is no way to stop people coming here unless you have a deterrent that means they will be sent somewhere else. It's as simple as that. This is our deterrent, and we are doing everything we can to get it on the statute books and get it up and running.
The UK government is under increasing local and international pressure to abandon the asylum seekers deportation plan, which critics say is a human rights violation. The government appears determined to go ahead with it. On December 11th, British MPs approved the plan. 313 lawmakers voted for a bill backing the plan, while 269 voted against it. This happened barely a week after the UK and Rwanda signed a new treaty that would allow the East African nation to receive those to be sent out of the UK.
The treaty that we signed today builds on that joint work. It takes the positive professional attitude that you and your government display and allies it with the work that the UK is doing to ensure that we break the business model of those evil people smuggling. We want to make sure that people can live in safety and prosperity.
I want to reaffirm that the people relocated to Rwanda will be welcomed and that they will be provided both the safety and support they need to build new lives. Rwanda looks forward to further strengthening the cooperation with the United Kingdom and to implementing this treaty.
The relevant provisions in the Human Rights Act 1998, including sections 2, 3.
The new deal between the two countries and its subsequent approval by the UK Parliament come after the UK Supreme Court declared a previous deportation plan illegal in November, citing concerns over the safety of those to be deported.
The legal test which has to be applied in this case is whether there are substantial grounds for believing that asylum seekers sent to Rwanda would be at real risk of refoulement. We accept the Home Secretary's submission that the Rwandan government entered into the agreement in good faith, and that the capacity of the Rwandan system to produce accurate and fair decisions can and will be built up. Nevertheless, asking ourselves whether there were substantial grounds for believing that a real risk of refoulement existed at the relevant time, we have concluded that there were.
The whole plan was first announced in April 2022 by the then Prime Minister Boris Johnson after Britain and Rwanda struck a deal dubbed UK-Rwanda Migration and Economic Development Partnership. The 5-year scheme is intended to allow irregular migrants crossing the 33-kilometer English Channel on small boats to be sent to Rwanda, where their asylum claims would be processed, and if successful, they would stay. Britain hopes to reduce the number of asylum seekers to below 100,000 every year, a situation the government said would help it save billions of pounds. In 2022 alone, there were over 600,000 net immigrations, according to the UK government. After the UK Supreme Court ruling, the government said the newly signed treaty would ensure that Rwanda does not expel asylum seekers to a country where their life or freedom would be threatened.
The decision of the court was that Rwanda is not a safe country for asylum seekers because there was a fear of the risk that they may be sent to their countries of origin. So that is very clear now in the treaty that Rwanda can never send these individuals to any other country other than the UK if they are deemed not acceptable in Rwanda. And what agreement brings as something new is that it creates binding obligations on Rwanda when it receives these asylum seekers, on which it could be held responsible under international law for violating those obligations.
Rwanda has repeatedly rejected claims that it is not safe for asylum seekers. This is not the first time that the country will play host to asylum seekers. It has hosted migrants and refugees since 1996. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, Rwanda was hosting over 135,000 refugees and asylum seekers as of September 2023, mainly from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, and Libya. In 2021, the East African country offered asylum to some Afghan refugees.
What is known is that after 1994 genocide against the Tutsis in Rwanda, it would have taken an internal approach of saying the international community has disappointed us, did not intervene to assist us when we needed the support, so we are going to do our things in isolation. But Rwanda took a different approach, which is that we are going to work with the international community. So Rwanda is the third largest contributor of police and troops for the UN peacekeeping missions. So if you look at it from that broader perspective, you might say there are some moral reasons that Rwanda is putting forward in positioning itself as an alternative to the conditions in which these people find themselves in.
According to the UK government, the country's asylum system costs £3 billion every year, with £8 million spent daily on hotel accommodation for refugees and asylum seekers. The government wants to cut this expenditure. It has promised to cater for the people to be deported to Rwanda, including accommodation and living expenses for up to 5 years. The UK has so far given Rwanda £240 million in economic development aid, with another £100 million expected to be given in 2024 and 2026 in 2 installments. This is on top of an estimated £170,000 per asylum seeker that the UK government expects to spend under the New Deal. Experts argue that as anti-migration sentiments increase in Europe, more seekers could be scapegoated and better alternative solutions will be difficult to find.
Statistics show that 50% of people who seek asylum in Europe end up not getting it. So they end up being rejected. What does that mean? The people who have been rejected end up as either stateless people or continue to stay in inhuman conditions, unless we would be to suggest that whoever that gets to Europe will automatically get refugee status. That cannot be suggested as an alternative. What I think that concerns people is that the current process in which people get to Europe is very dangerous, and it is profiting criminal activities.
Under the asylum deportation plan, deportees are to be sheltered in this renovated facility in Kigali. The 50-room facility had hosted survivors of the 1994 Rwandan genocide. So far, no single asylum seeker has actually been taken from the UK to Rwanda. The first deportation plane was due to take off in mid-June 2022, but the European Court of Human Rights prevented its departure. The trip was aborted. For now, deportation is not likely to commence before the upcoming elections in the United Kingdom next year, with the issue likely to feature prominently during campaigning. Experts say the political, the legal, and human rights, as well as the economic implications of the UK-Rwanda asylum policy, could be far-reaching. The debate continues.